Three friends driving down the road dream of starting a business together. It's a scenario many of us have played out in one way or another at one time or another. For John Hodges, Daniel Katz, and David Finkel, the dream actually came true. And the highway they were driving on in Italy even gave them the name of their company, A24. We've talked a lot about the casting of the Von Erich biopic The Iron Claw, and A24 is the company behind the movie. While they still haven't released all the roles that have been cast, primary filming wrapped in December, and the movie is in post-production and set to be released sometime in 2023. While we were waiting on the final product, let's take a look at just a few of the movies that have come from A24 since their founding in 2012. There have been more than 100 movies under the A24 name, so going through the entire catalog would be quite an undertaking. But we can look at 5 movies you may not have heard about. I think those interested in the Iron Claw might want to give a look before that movie is released. What better place to start than the beginning? The first film released under the A24 banner was A Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III, which premiered at the Rome Film Festival in November of 2012 and given a limited release in February of 2013. The movie was set in the 1970s and centered on a graphic design artist played by Charlie Sheen, who is dumped by his girlfriend. Swan plays out scenarios in his head as a way of coping with the breakup, getting help from his best friend and his manager. Roman Coppola directed the comedy drama, which also stars Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman, and Catherine Winnick. The movie bombed at the box office, bringing in just over $200,000 worldwide, half of which came from its release in Russia. Critics ripped the movie apart, with Nicholas Bell of IonCinema.com saying it was crafted like a watered-down Wes Anderson sketch, while Lisa Schwartzbaum of Entertainment Weekly likened it to a home movie with higher production value. The movie has a Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 25%, with an average of 2.4 out of a possible 5 stars from fans, and only 16% of critics giving it a favorable review. I'm not exactly selling this, am I? But as I said, it was the first offering from A24. That alone should at least pique curiosity. And I actually thought the movie was pretty funny. Bill Murray alone is worth the price of admission, and it's also worth pointing out that at the time of its release, Charlie Sheen was not exactly endearing himself to a lot of people, and that could have muddled some opinions. So if you go into it not expecting a masterpiece, and you like some offbeat humor in your movies, I think it's worth a look. A much more critically accepted film from A24 is First Cow from director Kelly Reichardt. The film had its world premiere at the Telluride Film Festival in Colorado in August 2019 and given wide release in the United States in March of 2020. Now, considering the time frame, it's worth pointing out it was released for streaming in July of 2020. Set in the Northwest United States in the 1820s, the movie follows 2 travelers on the run from a band of vengeful hunters. The pair plan to strike it rich through their secret use of a landowner's dairy cow. The film stars John Magaro, Orion Lee, Toby Jones, and Ewan Bremer. And yeah, I probably mispronounced at least one of those names. I guess First Cow is what might be considered a sleeper hit. Domestically, it only brought in just over $100,000, but worldwide, grossed just under $1.4 million, with the lion's share of that coming in France. Considering it was released just as the world was going into lockdown, that's actually pretty impressive. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 64% audience score with an average of 3.4 out of 5 stars, and an incredible 96% fresh score from critics. Kevin Marr of the Times UK called it an earnest parable about environmentalism, American destiny, and the value of friendship. Deborah Ross of The Spectator said it was a quietly masterful thriller, and definitely the best cow film of the year, and I can't argue with that. It's a simple story, created around 2 friends in a complicated situation. If you want bells and whistles and explosions and gunfights, it might not be for you. But if you enjoy the art of storytelling in your movies, it's certainly worth seeing. It was also the final film featuring René Auberjonois that premiered before his death in December 2019. Gunn and Batman fans take note. Val is a documentary biography centered on actor Val Kilmer. The film had its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival in July 2021 and had a limited release that same month. Directed by Ting Pu and Leo Scott, the documentary features home movie and behind-the-scenes footage from filming movies like The Doors, Top Gun, Batman Forever, and Tombstone, along with newly shot footage as Val was in the early stages of throat cancer. Kilmer is obviously the star of the film, which also features his son Jack Kilmer, along with a variety of friends, family, and colleagues and archive footage. I couldn't find numbers on this movie as far as box office, but I don't think it really matters with a film like this. Rotten Tomatoes has Val at a whopping 89% on audience score with an average of 4.2 out of 5 stars. Critics liked it as well with a 94% fresh rating, and anytime critics and the audience are in agreement, it's got to mean something. Alexandra Heller-Nicholas from ABC Radio Australia called it a raw, honest portrait of self-reflection. Leah Greenblatt of Entertainment Weekly said it was a lifetime of searching and self-regard distilled into a state of grace. Simply put, it is a unique opportunity to see inside the life of a popular actor that was in some of the most popular movies of the 1990s and 2000s. Obviously, it can be a little sad when you see him struggling with his real-life situation, but also appreciative that he would share this look inside his struggles with the audience. The fact that Kilmer shot a lot of the movie himself over the years makes it a very different kind of documentary. I highly recommend if you are a Kilmer fan. This might be a bit of an acquired taste. Life After Beth is a horror comedy written and directed by Jeff Baena. The movie is about Beth, played by Aubrey Plaza, who dies after being bitten by a venomous snake. Beth comes back from the dead, seemingly somewhat normal at first, but eventually it becomes clear she is not the same as she was before. Her boyfriend Zach, played by Dane DeHaan, goes to great lengths to reignite their relationship while her parents try to protect the daughter they thought they had lost. The movie also stars Molly Shannon, Cheryl Hines, Paul Reiser, and John C. Reilly. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in January 2014 and had a limited release in August of 2014. It only brought in a little over $274,000, with most of that coming in the United Kingdom, but it was also never in more than 30 theaters at its widest release. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is only 31%, with an average of 2.8 out of 5 stars. Critics have given it 45% favorable reviews, which, compared to a lot of other movies, could be worse. Jason Bailey of Flavor Wire said the movie plays best when feeding off Plaza's manic gonzo energy. Abby Bernstein of Assignment X said it has some good moments and is worth seeing for Riley alone. So critics didn't rip it apart, but as I alluded to earlier, this probably won't be for everybody. If you're a fan of Aubrey Plaza, I think it's worth seeing just because it's the kind of humor that fits her very well, and she is one of the central characters. Quirky doesn't seem like the right word, but it's the word I keep coming back to describe the movie. If horror humor is your thing, I think you'll like it. My favorite movie of 2022, and maybe my favorite movie of all time. The movie centers on Evelyn, played by Michelle Yeoh, a Chinese immigrant running a laundromat with her husband Wayman, played by Ki-Hu Kwan. Starting with a simple story of having trouble finishing her taxes, it soon jumps into a bizarre roller coaster of time travel, dimension jumping, alternate universes, and hot dog fingers. Facing the fact she is the key to saving the world by linking to other realities, Evelyn just wants to fix what is wrong with this life. The movie also stars Stephanie Hsu, James Hong, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Everything Everywhere All at Once premiered at South by Southwest in March 2022 and had a limited release later that same month before getting a wide release in April of 2022. It has grossed over $103 million worldwide, with $70 million of that coming from the United States. It's through the roof on Rotten Tomatoes with an 89% audience score and an average of 4.5 out of 5 stars. Critics have also loved the movie with a 95% fresh score. Peter Travers of ABC News said it's a volcano of creative ideas in full eruption. And Kristen Maldonado of Pop Culture Planet called it a genre-bending wonder of phenomenal performances. I can't say enough about the movie. It's essentially a sci-fi movie that is also a comedy, action-adventure, fantasy with a heart. It's mesmerizing, delightfully confusing, and it might turn you off hot dogs for a little while after you watch it. The movie is 2 hours and 19 minutes long, but it doesn't waste time getting going, and it doesn't feel like it takes over 2 hours to go on this ride. If you haven't seen it already, watch it. If you have, watch it again. Of course, there are a wide variety of other movies from A24 that are worth watching. Room, The Witch, The Ballad of Lefty Brown, Slice, and the company may be hitting their longest stride yet thanks to their recent success with movies like The Whale, After Sun, When You Finish Saving the World, and of course The Iron Claw, either having already premiered or coming soon. They offer a wide variety of movies you aren't going to see anywhere else. I do want to point out this is not a sponsored video. I'm just a fan and wanted to share some movies you may not have been familiar with. Stick around to the end screen for links to other videos you might enjoy. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, not necessarily in that order. And I will see you next time.